I know some of you are asking themselves, what does it mean, clever? Well, unfortunately, I also agree with you. It's a funny name, because every time I have to explain why I'm clever, but I'm not clever. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, my partner is not here, Elise. When I was first approached by our friend here, Francia, I just didn't know what to say. But as he was discussing with me, I fell in love with his idea. And when they introduced my partner, Elise, then we became twins. And we started discussing about how to improve education in our school and how to support one another. And at that time, I was frustrated, demotivated, and even intended to resign because there was no support. The Department of Education gave us a school that was worth 33.2 million, but they gave us 20 cents to maintain the school, and that was very frustrating. We needed to get some partners to help us, but unfortunately, it was very difficult to get into their purses. But then, after meeting Elise for the second time, I think, we started discussing about how we can improve the school. Then I decided that I'm not just going to concentrate on learners and education, and not on the building and how to maintain it, because that will be the baby of the Department of Education. Then what happened at the first, when we started being a Section 20 school, we discovered that it was a disadvantage for us. And we tried to raise some funds to maintain the school. That was before I decided to resign. And we were able to raise some funds, get some partners who gave us the support. Firstly, our children were from 4 different schools. The other school was wearing a maroon uniform. The other school was wearing a blue uniform. And the last school was wearing, I think it's blue also. And all those children from different schools came to our school, and we had to accommodate them. And we became a rainbow nation. But I didn't like to see that rainbow like the way it was. I wanted to have one school, one uniform, and one direction. So we started approaching different churches. You know, when they pray, they close their eyes. And I told them that when you pray, please pray for us to get some partners who can donate uniform for some children. And just last year, 15 partners came. Some decided to buy 5 children full uniform, and Old Mutual bought about 23 uniforms for boys and girls until it was about 85%. Then this year, the very same people came back and they donated some uniform again for our children, and now it was now 85. So we are left with 15. So those of you who still have purses, please, when we leave, join me. We'll discuss about it. Then the challenge of Section 20 and Section 21 was then resolved. I'm not sure whether it was resolved or it is resolved, because we attended the workshop last week, Friday and Saturday, where we were being given a workshop on how to control our funds, so that when we get to Section 21, then we'll be able to do that, and that will be next year. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to resign because we'll be having something. What happened is I approached certain people. On my way to Midrand, I saw a gentleman waiting on the side of the road, and he was alone, but I could see that he had a problem. So I just stopped in front of him and I asked him, what is the problem? And he told me that he had a puncture and his, what do we call it, he does not have the spanner to, what do we call that? No. To replace that tire. So I gave him that tire and we started discussing. After 4 days, he came back to me because I told him where I was working. And he said he's from MTN. And he wanted to find out if there is anything that I would like him to help us with. And the first thing was, hey, we need computers here. And after 3 weeks, I received a letter, an email from MTN. They said they were going to donate 20 laptops and also 20 computers. Then I said, yes, that will be fine. Then after 2 days, they said, no, we are not longer going to give you laptops, we'll give you computers only. There's a school next to you that also needs our support. So they gave me 20 computers. So as we speak, we have a fully fledged computer center where our children, the local community, will be trained to use them. That is computer classes for grade 1 to grade 7. My dream is to have a computer center for grade R learners so that when they start, you know these kids, when they have cell phones, they play like cell phones as if they were born with them. So I decided to have computers for grade R learners, and they told me that what they can do for us is to send us a program that can be used for those children. So at least something will be happening with regard to computer classes for our children and also the community around the school. Then we were also worried about the parents. Most of them could not write and they could not read. And when we give our children homework, they just get somebody to write the answers for the children. And that shows that they don't even understand what is homework. We then workshopped the parents, had a class with them, told them how to teach their children, and from there, something happened. The parents themselves decided that they want to have Saturday classes. And I tried to recruit some people from Karigude, yes, Karigude. And they promised to start the program as early as next year, January, for the parents around that area. Wow. So I think they will be able to help their children. They want to write homework for their children. Then I think even the level of literacy will also be improved. And those parents will be able to do something for themselves. The good working relationship with the community. You know, when we were discussing as partners, I always told you that our parents, I try to buy them by giving them something that somebody does not give them. Like for instance, when we have food parcels, I would give all the parents, the families that are next to the street. When we have donation of trees, I would then give the people who live next to the school so that they plant trees and then we have shades. When we get food parcels, I would give them the food parcels and also try to make sure that they are motivated and encouraged to support the school. And in that way, we were able to make sure that that school, with a fully fledged computer center, beautiful buildings, beautiful sports ground, and also the most beautiful grade R classrooms, we get what we expect from the local community, that is security-wise. Mm-hmm. Now, nobody can jump the fence and take whatever they want because they believe this is our school. Now, they are part of the school, even when there are no patrollers, the parents themselves are always watching. So security is 100%. Then I learned a lot from our colleagues, our partners. You know, we were frustrated. I remember the first time when we met, we discussed a lot of things and we were demotivated. But the second meeting, we were all able to discuss as if we were brothers, even though we didn't know each other. The third meeting, we were now a family. And as we met in these gatherings, we were able to learn from one another. We would laugh, but not cry. We would play, but not misuse our opportunity. We learned from each other, and how we did it, it is because of we had something very important, something that will bring back Africa. When we say Africa, it does not mean that we exclude the other people. They are also Africans. So then the partners gave me more courage, more confidence to go and do something for that community. And as I speak today, I am proud to say to you that I am having a computer center that will be able to improve not only the parents, but those learners who have passed matric but are computer illiterate, so that they can be able to go somewhere and be employed as computer technicians. That is my dream. Then in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, change is possible, and that I have seen. When I met this group, they changed me. I became something that I never thought I would become. I became a social worker, I became a father, I became a friend to all those who worked with me. And that gave me back what I put in, the confidence that I had when I first started teaching. And I am proud to say to you today that what I am doing, or what we are doing, is what Africa would be proud of tomorrow. I don't care what somebody thinks of me today, but I care about what people will think of me tomorrow. How I changed, what it meant for me, I think I've told that. I mentioned that in my presentation. I have a new appreciation of what a principal has to accomplish and make a school work. Firstly, I'm the first person to arrive every morning at school. And when I get there, the first thing that I do, I wait at the gate, and the small ones, the grade R children, they come and they greet me, they hug me, and you know, that only makes me feel good. Principals from the Partners for Possibility also gave me the confidence that I really lacked. Educators and administrators and social workers, actually what the educators do call me, they say I'm a social worker, I'm not a principal, because I concentrate mainly on problems that the community is facing. Like, for instance, if they are hungry, instead of giving teachers some cabbages, I give the community. So they regard me as a social worker, and I wish I was, and also a healthcare worker. Then when it comes to how to maintain the school without money, we came up with a way of fundraising, and that fundraising helped us since last year until today, because we don't have any source of income. Then change does not happen overnight. I understand that. It takes time for change to happen. But then, after some time, when I decided, I think even my wife, I told her that I wanted to resign, and she's wondering why I did not resign. But it is because I've been injected again to become an educator, to become a social worker, to become a community builder, and also to change the lives of other people. I need a passionate principal like Mr. Shikwambane. Somebody who was very encouraged by some of the things that I do, and that was my partner. She, Elise is, those who know Elise, sometimes she cries when she sees things. I don't think it is because it was painful, but she was touched by when I went to the great art classes with her, and those kids were running and hugging us, and there were tears in her eyes. And she said to me, Clever, I want to go back to that class, but I want to bring some sweets. I said, no, if you bring sweets, they won't do it again. Just eat them. And every time when she sees them, they run to her and hug her. Then with my educators, they regard me as a friend and also as their leader. I am very strict, not that strict like the old principals. I can communicate with them properly, but I don't want to say that word. But I have a very good team that is very supportive, who know where they are going and where they are coming from. So it is because of that that I feel what we have done in this Partners for Possibility is that change is possible, and that we can make a lot of changes and also improve our community. Let me tell you why I became a teacher. The principal in our primary school, when I passed my standard 6, before I passed standard 6, they forced us to have vegetable gardens. And every day during school holidays, we'll go and water those gardens. And when the schools reopen, they will then say to us, take this to my home. But they didn't give us. And we are the ones who were maintaining those gardens, watering them, doing everything, but they are the ones who enjoy eating it. So what I did, the principal called me and said, take this basket full of carrots, cabbage, and beetroot. She said I must take it to his home. So I took it to my home. And the following day in the morning, he called me at assembly and said I must go to his office. And I knew what was going to happen. So whilst they were closing their eyes to pray, when they said, Amen, I ran away. And that was the last time they saw me in that school. So my brother decided that no, because I don't want to go back to school, he sent me to go and attend school in Tshwane. And that's where my life changed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.